If you've been following our channel, you're probably familiar with Ethereum scaling solutions like Rollups. But did you know that there are a few others beyond them? Before we focus on each one of them, let's quickly recap. Rollups are a type of scaling solution that processes transactions on another blockchain and then rolls them up into batches for inclusion on the main blockchain. This reduces the load on Ethereum while still inheriting its security. There are two types of rollups which differ in how transactions are validated. Optimistic rollups like Arbitrum and Optimism rely on fraud proofs, while zero-knowledge rollups like zk-Sync and Polygon zk-EVM rely on mathematical proofs. On top of rollups, we also have state channels. Unlike rollups, which process transactions on another blockchain and then aggregate them, state channels enable off-chain transactions directly between users. For instance, Mary can open a channel with her regular taxi driver Peter by depositing 0.2 ETH on Ethereum. Now, they can conduct numerous transactions off-chain without burdening the Ethereum network, which then records only two transactions, the entry and exit transactions when they open and close the channel. Ethereum projects like Raiden Network use state channels, but perhaps the most well-known example is the Lightning Network on Bitcoin. Sidechains, unlike state channels and rollups, operate independently as separate EVM-compatible blockchains with distinct designs and consensus algorithms which can enable much faster and cheaper transactions. The drawback is that they don't inherit the security of Ethereum and instead use bridges to connect back to the main chain. Gnosis Chain is an example of a sidechain. We also have plasma chains, sometimes called child chains, which are essentially smaller copies of the Ethereum mainnet linked to the Ethereum blockchain, the root or parent chain. Plasma uses a cryptographic technique known as a commitment scheme to secure off-chain transactions. This involves the operator of a plasma chain to periodically publish state commitments, which essentially provide information on the current state of the child chain on Ethereum. To use Plasma, users lock up ETH on the root chain, receiving equivalent tokens on the Plasma child chain. While this setup is similar to that of sidechains, Plasma chains are different in that they still settle transactions on the Ethereum mainnet despite executing them off-chain, and so benefit to some extent from Ethereum's security. Additionally, fraud proofs are also used to handle disputes. Projects like OMG Network use Plasma tech, while Polygon POS is an example of a Plasma sidechain hybrid. Lastly, we have Validiums, which are similar to ZK rollups, in that they conduct computations away from the Ethereum main layer and use validity proofs to verify off-chain transactions on Ethereum. However, unlike ZK rollups, Validiums used by projects like Starkware rely on off-chain data availability. This means they store transaction data off the Ethereum mainnet rather than posting compressed data directly on it. This off-chain data availability model minimizes on-chain data to boost scalability and reduce user fees. However, this storage of data off-chain involves a custodial element, which can mean that users are unable to withdraw funds if malicious operators withhold data. But solutions to decentralized data storage to minimize trust assumptions have been proposed. Late to the party? Check out our earlier video comparing optimistic versus ZK rollups here.